How's it going? Woodspoon Supercoach here. Round 5 late mail. Let's not fuck around. Straight into it. I've got the teams lists article on my other monitor because a lot of the time they just fucking reword what they've already said, so I'm not going to repeat everything I said on Tuesday. Raiders, no changes. For the Sharks, Tom Hazelton has recovered from his back injury, but he's dropped out because of illness. So Billy Burns comes in and Puru gets pushed to 18th man. Talakai ruled out for concussion protocols, and Kaolero, we already knew that. Hiroti coming in. Panthers, Cowboys. For the Panthers, no changes. They've just stuck it in ChatGPT and said, write this differently for me. And same story for the Cowboys. This Zach Laybutt news is new, but he's in the reserve, so not important. Rabbitohs. Now, Supercoach has come out and confirmed that Latrell won't be getting the Centre Duel, and I was really disappointed at first until I watched Aman's stream. If you're not familiar with Aman Talks NRL Supercoach, I'd be very surprised. He is the GOAT. I wouldn't know half of what I know if it wasn't for him, so shout out to you, Aman, and your luscious hair. I mentioned his hair and completely forgot what I was talking about. It's actually a good thing that Latrell isn't coming into the centres because then just everyone would get him, which was the point Aman was making. And it is a good point. Like, if you get Latrell in, you want it to be somewhat of a pod move. Like, there's going to be a lot of people doing it, but he's so expensive and fullback is limited, so not everyone's going to get him. And if you get him in and he does well, it's more of an advantage with him not having the centre wing duel. So I completely agree with him on that. It also gives an opportunity for him to bottom out a little bit at the centres, and then we can get him in cheaper, unless he's playing that Origin-style roaming role. We'll have to just wait and see on that. Can't recommend getting him in this week. Not a good one to go early on. And everything else for the Rabbitohs is copy-paste. And the only new news we have for the Roosters is that Connor Watson is set to return, as I expected. Nothing else there. Eels Dragons, this is going to be sick. Lomax going against his former club as well as Gutherson, so that's going to be an interesting watch. I might have to put a multi on both of them to score just for the narrative. If it was to come off, you'd be fuming that you didn't get on it. Eels is just copy and paste. Fuck, it's annoying. Like, whoever the first team was, I can't remember, they labelled no changes since last week. But then all the other teams, they're just like, let's just jumble the words around so it's the same information delivered differently. Oh, well, at least if you're watching this, you don't have to comb through it all. Like, seriously. Ireland International Jermaine Jolliffe is on track to return from a calf injury. Prop Jermaine Jolliffe is back after 2 games with a calf injury. It's like, bro, just copy my homework, but don't make it obvious. It's so annoying. Okay, I won't bitch about it anymore. No changes for the Titans. No changes for the Dolphins. No changes for the Broncos. No changes for the Tigers. This is a nice, easy week. No changes for Manly, but I didn't realise Josh Allier did his shoulder. Can we just stop losing all our forwards, please? They're dropping like fucking flies. No changes for Melbourne. Alright, we've finally got something here for the Bulldogs. Kiraz has been named in the reserves, but will come into the side if he trains fully throughout the week as he pushes to return from a hip injury. So he's still at gun price, since he hasn't played yet this year. Yeah, he's 700k, so you're going to want to have a look at him. If he does come back this week, he still has to play 3 games before his price changes, so we get a couple of looks at him. I liked the idea of starting with him before he was injured, but at this stage, bringing him in for 700k seems a little bit over the top. His break even, he could score. That's pretty much just his value there, 72, so yeah, we'll have a look at him for the next couple of weeks and then we'll make a decision on him when it comes to price changes. Or if he's killing it, we can go early. And no changes for the Knights. Copied homework there as well. Let's head over to the group league and see the bets you guys have put on. So let's move my fat head out of the way. My bet for the week is Manly by 1. I feel good about this. It could just be that I'm remembering back to when Cherry Evans slotted that field goal against him a couple of years ago. More than a couple of years ago. I think that was like 2019, but I remember exactly where I was that moment. It was me and some dude who I'd just met, another Manly fan, and we were like hugging and like nearly crying because we were both blind fucking drunk. That was a good night. So yeah, I like that bet. Then we got Finn, who got lucky and got a 750 stake because I made a mistake. He's actually not topping the league, but he gets it. And the bloke who was topping the league didn't leave a bet, so Finn just gets it. So 750 on Ramian, I don't mind it. Ramian's a gun. He's another guy I'm looking to get into my team eventually. If it happens to work out, I'm not going to rip my team apart to get him in. Metamorphosis is back, as usual, with the strategy. This is the strategy. Now, because Finn got half of the stake and the rest of it was split between me and the two others here, it was only $2.50 per person. So once you split that $2.50 between all the singles and multi all together, it's not paying much, but it is safe rising, and there is a couple of higher odds players in there that can add a decent amount to the prize pool. And then for Cats and Cubes, we've got Storm head-to-head, Coates and Katoa. Hate to break it to you, bro. They're playing Manly, so that's not going to happen. It's going to be 40-0. No, it's not. It's going to be 1-0. So I win my bet. Cool. I've realized I haven't really gone over captains and vice captains at all in my videos, so let's go do that. So as you can see, I've got the captaincy on Haas, the vice on Cleary. If you have both of those players, I would recommend doing the same thing. Other options though, Penrith against the Cowboys though, that's just too hard to pass up. And part of me thinks I should just put the straight C on Cleary. We've seen him come back from injuries and carve up a few times. And against the Cowboys, I don't think it's going to be too difficult for him. But I do have this nuff down in center wing if I need to activate that loop. So I'm thinking, I think a good guess on Haas's score is an 80, give or take. He obviously could go a lot bigger. He could regress a little bit, probably not, but I think 80 is a nice, safe thing to go with. So I think Cleary, to be worth the loop, would have to get a 120 for me. Other options, you could throw a VC on Nico Hines. I don't mind that. Souths and Roosters, I don't see many options there unless you're an absolute psycho and you brought Latrell in. You could maybe throw a VC on him, but I am not recommending that. St. George and Para. I think Gutho is going to be well and truly up for this. I think both teams are going to be up for this. It's just a shame that Para sucks. So I don't hate Gutho as an option. You'd probably want to have a VC on him, not a straight C. And then maybe after that, you could put a Payne Haas or a Terrell May as your captain. I'd probably steer clear of the Manly and Melbourne players. I don't see a blowout of any kind happening there. And then Bulldogs and Newcastle, I don't mind Ponga. It is the last game of the round, so you can stick the captain on him and then you can VC anyone else. But it's just tough coming up against the Bulldogs in all this talk of their really good defense. They're on top of the ladder. But there's just something in me that's saying the Bulldogs aren't all that. They're really good, but I don't think they're as good as 4-0 and top of the ladder would lead you to think. So I wouldn't put it past Ponga to be able to get a ton here. He just does it all the time. So if you're a Newcastle fan, sure, stick the captaincy on Ponga. I don't think I'm missing anyone else obvious, so we can move on from there. As for my trades this week, that's the wrong button. Got Metcalf and Jesse Arthurs out for Campbell and Tom Jenkins. I don't like selling Arthurs, but it's the only way to A, get Jenkins in, and B, get Campbell in. The only other way would be to sell Shibasaki, Hopewadi, or Garrick, and I'm not doing that. Or I could sell Munster instead of Metcalf, but this is crazy talk here, so I'm not stoked about it. Arthurs does have a decent run coming up. I'm going to fiddle around with it and see if, like, with Jules or something, I can do something magical to get him back in, but I don't think I can. Quite scary with him coming up against the Tigers without Luai. I don't mind the Tigers there at $5, you know. I don't think the Broncos should be $1.17 favourites. Sure, Luai's out, but the Tigers aren't quite the Tigers of old. They've still got a bed shit in them, as we've seen last week, but I might have a little sneaky underdog multi-bet on the side. I'm thinking Tigers, I'm thinking Raiders, I'm thinking Manly. Canberra Tigers Manly. I like that. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Yes, I'll try and get Jesse Arthurs back in if I can. And at this point, how's that for a projected score? Jesus. I'm just rambling at this point because it's quite a short video with the fuck all changes in late mail. So I'll wrap it up there. I'm pushing for top 100 in Supercoach this week. Wish me luck. I've never cracked the top 100. I think my best rank is about 120th or something. So I would love to finally get that down to 2 figures. And I'm starting to manifest my first year of YouTubing, and I'm going to win the fucking comp. Sweet. Good luck this week, everybody. And I'll see you on Sunday for the round reaction. Hooroo.